From the streets of South Central to the stages of the world, Ice Cube's story isn't just one of success. It's a testament to what Unbreakable can create. He helped shape American culture, gave voice to the unheard, and carved his name into music, film, and history. But behind the legend is a man who rose through loss, hardship, and choices that could crush anyone else. Cube's journey began long before the world knew his name. Born on June 15, 1969, in Westmont, a corner of South Central where danger felt routine, he grew up in a home held together by discipline and love, even when money was scarce. His father, Hosea, worked long days at UCLA. His mother, Doris, kept watch over her children with a firm, protective heart. The streets outside were loud, uncertain, and demanding. Inside, silence often spoke louder. Then came the wound that shaped him forever. At only 12, Ice Cube lost his sister Beverly, a tragedy so sudden it shattered the rhythm of their home. He watched his mother collapse in grief, and his father fall into a quiet no child should witness. The house became heavy, the days cold, and childhood slipped out the door with her. He walked South Central with the eyes of someone who had learned too early that life offered no guarantees. At school, laughter felt distant. At home, memories lingered like shadows. But in that darkness, something unexpected began to rise. Writing found him at 14. A friend joked he should try putting words on paper, and the lines he typed surprised even him. They carried weight, truth, grief. Night after night, he wrote under a dim bulb, using every verse to release the pain he couldn't speak out loud. Writing wasn't a hobby. It was survival. His world widened at Taft High School, miles away in Woodland Hills, a place that looked nothing like the streets he came from. He moved through two worlds, one polished, one unpredictable, holding grief tight against his ribs while promising himself he would keep going, no matter how heavy the load. Stability tempted him briefly. In 1987, he studied drafting at the Phoenix Institute of Technology, but blueprints couldn't fix what life had broken. A year later, he returned to Los Angeles with nothing but grit and an urgency that outweighed fear. Music became his lifeline, performing at backyard parties with Sir Jinx. With Dr. Dre behind the turntables, Cube found the pulse he'd been missing. Dre noticed it too, the honesty in his lines, the precision in his storytelling. At 16, Cube sold Boys in the Hood to Eazy, the first time his voice reached beyond his block. NWA made that voice impossible to ignore. When Straight Outta Compton dropped in 1988, Cube wasn't just part of the group. He was the pen cutting through America's comfort. His words challenged, exposed, and confronted. Behind the scenes, however, contracts told a harsher truth. The man driving the message saw none of the reward. Walking away from NWA in 1989 was lonely, but it was the right choice. His solo career roared, America's Most Wanted, Death Certificate, The Predator. Albums that didn't just entertain, they demanded the world listen. The climb was brutal. Long days, sleepless nights, a spotlight that burned as much as it illuminated. Hollywood became his next battleground. John Singleton saw something real in him and cast him in Boys in the Hood. Cube learned acting as he learned survival, by necessity. Friday cemented him as more than a rapper. It made him a creator. Through Cube Vision, he built films that became cultural staples. Barbershop, Are We There Yet? 21, Jump Street. The higher he climbed, the heavier the weight. Then came his boldest gamble. The Big Three in 2017. Critics called it impossible. A league that cost millions before earning a dime. But Cube built anyway, using the same grit that carried him out of South Central. In 2021, he made a decision that shook Hollywood. He turned down a $9 million role rather than comply with a studio-mandated vaccine. No noise, no debate, just a firm no. It cost him momentum, protection, opportunities. For a man who built doors where none existed, that silent shift hurt more than any headline. Yet Cube has faced whispers of your time has passed many times, and every time he proved them wrong. Through every storm, his anchor was family. Kimberly Woodruff stood by him before the world knew his name. Together, they built a life from grocery budgets, late-night talks, crack plates, and whispered dreams. But success demanded a price. She endured lonely nights, raising 5 children while he chased fame across airplanes and film sets. One birthday stayed with him forever. Candles melting, cake waiting, hope fading. Kimberly checked the door repeatedly. Finally, their son asked, "Is Dad coming?" He didn't make it home. Hours later, Cube returned to his silent house. Their son slept on the couch, clutching his gift. Kimberly sat alone, balloons drooping. In that silence, Cube realized the truth. He had gained the world, but missed the moments that mattered most. Healing didn't come from grand gestures. It came from showing up. Cube began returning home differently. Slower, present, aware. Some nights he sat on the bed after midnight, listening, counting the moments already missed. Kimberly noticed a change. Pauses in doorways, longer hugs, shared moments. Their 5 children, O'Shea Jr., Daryl, Karima, Deja, and Sherry, mended the family unknowingly. In 2015, O'Shea Jr. played Cube in Straight Outta Compton. Watching together, Cube saw himself through his son's eyes, the losses, the bruises, the victories. In that glow, he wasn't a legend. He was a husband, father, grandfather. Home isn't perfect. Arguments flare, misunderstandings sting, forgiveness settles. But it's steady, earned day by day. Cube often says, success didn't teach him love. Family did. Kimberly became his compass through every high and heartbreak. They remember Eazy-E's death, 31. Too young, too iconic. Fans mourned an era. Cube mourned a brother he never forgave. They'd chased dreams under flickering bulbs in cramped studios. Fame lifted them, money divided them, pride silenced them. Life closed a door neither knew would lock forever. Cube recalls a dusty studio, secondhand equipment, curling carpet. Eazy leaned back, nodding to a beat. There's something here. Keep going. He believed in Cube long, before the world did. Selling Boys in the Hood to Cube at 16 changed both their lives. NWA was lightning, explosive, unforgettable. But lightning burns fast. Contracts twisted intentions. Miscommunication grew teeth. Cube left in 1989, anger unnamed. Silence followed. In 1995, the call came. Eazy was in the hospital. 8 years of regret hit Cube. At the hospital, he froze. I didn't know what I would have said, he later reflected. March 26, 1995. Eazy was gone. L.A. mourned loudly. Cube quietly. Some wounds teach more than they heal. Later, he spoke of Eazy not as a rival, but as the friend who gave him his first shot. We were just kids, he said. Kids trying to make something out of nothing. That's why the loss cut deep. Now 56, Cube proves what focus, discipline, and belief can build. From South Central to a $160 million net worth. Every dollar reflects long nights, early mornings, relentless work, and choosing ownership over comfort. His homes tell the story. Marina Del Rey mansion with glass walls, rooftop fire pits, private theater. Encino Estate with gyms, recording room, basketball court, resort-style pool. Hedges shielding the peace he fought for. His garage isn't about trophies, it's about milestones. 64 Chevy Impala, Rolls-Royce Ghost, Porsche Panamera, Cadillac Escalade, custom West Coast rides. Legacy isn't luxury, it's vision. Music opened doors, film expanded them. Producing strengthened them, entrepreneurship secured them. The Big Three League proved critics wrong. Step by step, he built it. Applause fades. Ownership lasts. Vision lasts. At home, life slows. With Kimberly, grown children, and a grandchild, Cube cherishes family over fame. Some days are loud. Others just him and Kimberly at sunset. Holidays are louder, brighter. Grandbaby toys scattered, cousins laughing. Kimberly's cooking savored. Cube moves with the calm rhythm of a man who learned to enjoy what he built. Outside, he's an icon. At home, he's husband, father, grandfather, the roles he treasures most. Quiet philanthropy threads his life, supporting young creators and underserved communities. He widens doors because he remembers growing up with none. He still works, tours, and carries the fire he had at 16. Time has refined him, not softened him. The world changes. He stays grounded. As this chapter closes, What lingers isn't just success, but humanity. How he rises after every loss, every storm. His journey reminds us that every life holds victories and wounds, and perhaps something in his story stays with you. A moment, a lesson, a glimpse of man still standing strong.